Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. If you're my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, we're going to be covering something very in particular. We're going to talk about the possibility of a new redo or another election. Particularly with the Romania election, we had their election annulled. And so we're doing a redo. Now, if some of you guys have recalled in some of my previous videos that I did recently, last month in November, I talked about how I kept seeing a high probability of us not saying Vice President Harris won the 2024 presidential election, but there's a high probability that we could have a redo election in the year of 2025. So I want to be able to kind of do this video. I really meant to do this video like a couple of weeks ago, but I got sick during Thanksgiving, so I didn't get time to do it. But we're going to do it today. There's motivation here, and there's also clear information on how it should be done. Now that Romania had done it, there's a proper blueprint for the United States of America, and just find out whether or not the United States will seize the opportunity to use that. I kept saying in those videos when I talked about Project 2025, excuse me, not Project 2025, when I talked about the possibility of a new presidential election in 2025, I kept talking about how there's going to be a foreign government who's going to do the same exact thing, and it's going to pave as a blueprint for the United States on how is to properly do their elections as well. So we're going to explore that in today's video. And then we will also be talking about in another video, not in this video unless it shows up, another possibility on how President Biden could stay in the White House by making sure that he is considered a wartime president. So there are a couple outcomes, there are a couple possibilities. There is, again, high probability of something occurring. I do see that here. We talked about in the previous couple of videos about election interference. It showed up, but it didn't show up definitively, like directly anymore. And it seemed like the narrative and the energy is shifting towards other opportunities, other options, and other ways and other loopholes in the United States and in the United States Constitution. So we are going to explore that in today's video and in the next video sometime soon. But anyway, let's do this. Thank you all for engaging, liking, and subscribing to the content. Thank you for sharing this video. I really greatly appreciate all of you guys. If you have not already, I don't know if you get pinged, but I am responding to your comments, so just go check your comments, and I probably have responded. But anyway, I love you. Don't get to do the same for this video. If you are interested in contacting President Biden or Vice President Harris, everything's in the description below, along with other, if you want to join my Facebook group. I'm thinking about making a Discord group, because I know a lot of you guys don't like Facebook. And I will also be making a Blue Sky account, so definitely keep note of that. And I am also considering changing the YouTube channel name and the whole shebang. So definitely keep note of that. I'll let you know when that happens. But anyway, let's just begin. I'm not going to waste any more time. And for those of you guys who have closed caption issued, I do not control the transcript. That is YouTube. I withhold videos until the closed caption is done, unless it's time sensitive, then I have to release it. So I do apologize if some videos don't have closed captions automatically or right away. It will be added on. It's on automatic processing, but it will take some time. So definitely just keep that in note as well. I do apologize on my behalf and YouTube behalf. But anyway, let's begin. So this video is being recorded on December 7th at 2:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. So that is when I'm making this video. You guys are probably watching the espionage YouTube video that just got released today. So let's begin. So Spears and Angel, tell me about Romania. Okay, so I got told to use this tower deck, and I'm very good at reading games, card games. I really am. And so I was like, well, that's my strength. Why not just use it? So that's what we're going to do today. What is this? Okay, this is a reply. I kept getting drawn to Romania having text. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use games because, like I said, always in the past, is that I can read games. That's not an issue. Because I read with intuition and energy. I don't read with what's it called? With the actual meaning of the cards. I read however I feel. So Spirit Angels, there's too many cards. Too many. Okay, let's see. How about this? There's another way we can do this. We're going to talk about Romania here. I feel like there's information that we need to know about Romania. Okay, what one has information regarding Romania? Middle. Okay, so this is the one we're going to use. Okay. So now we're going to shuffle this. Okay, Speakership will tell me about Romania. What's going on with the Romanian government and the redo election? What has to do with the United States, if you want to add that in? What does it have to do with the United States? Thank you. Okay, so we have here boom shakalaka. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So you're talking about the explosion. Honestly, I talked about someone dying, highly classified figure. I'm starting to think the highly classified figure is the healthcare CEO. That's what I think that might have been. But we don't know yet because the month of December is still underway. We have here, can't we just split a hoagie and talk things through? That is also another reverse. We have here, I've been waiting for you to notice all day. Okay. We have here, go bother your therapist with that. I can't even begin to unpack this for you. Okay, oh, that's a little insulting, but okay. And then we have here, I'm filing a restraining order and this text will be going in as evidence. Interesting. I'm going to turn them around for a second. So boom chakalaka, that's what I'm talking about. So that is the response of the right-wing conservative who was endorsed by Russia and has been aided by Russia. That is probably his energy, right? It's like, I won, right? And then he said, we can't just split a hoagie and talk things through, though, right? That is his response after what has happened. He say, oh, well, I don't really need you. You're useless. You know what I mean? You are useless. And then it says here, I've been waiting for you to notice all day. Notice the evidence that has been presented. Notice the information being revealed, the information that I did to be able to get to where I am. He already ran on a TikTok campaign and won as the first ever TikToker, right? But he was endorsed by Russia and had millions and millions of followers. And then once he won the election, all those followers disappeared, right? Because it has boom chakalaka, that's what I'm talking about. That is his response to him winning. Can we just split a hoagie and talk things through? This is him saying, oh, well, to the investigators. And then it's, I've been waiting for you to notice all day. This is him overconfident. But then it says here, go bother your therapist about this. I can't even begin to unpack this for you. It feels like for me, this is a very critical time in Romania. And the fact that it said that a lot of information is being revealed, or a lot of information that's being known or being seen is being shown in the specific card. Now underneath here we have the boom shakalaka, that's what I'm talking about. It's being followed by I'm filing a restraining order, and this text will be going in as evidence. So that tells me that there is evidence here, proof that they have referring to that there is a plan that was put in place in Romania. Now, that is the reply. Let's see what the original message, what was the inbox text? What was the inbox text for Romania? For what happened with the election and how it might be connected to the United States, if you want to add that in. How is that connected to the United States? Okay, you told me to hit the first three. I don't know if I want to read that. You know what? Actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I just want to state that this is a little bit not PG-13, now I'm realizing it. But just bear with me here. It says here, underneath here, can we just split a hoagie and talk things through? Going right after I'm filing a training order. The text that sent out was, sorry about me last night, never let me drink alcohol again. Right? So it was drunk. What happened when you're drunk? You don't mean what you think that you did or think that happened, right? Or you blackly just don't remember. Oh, I don't remember like that. We have here, I've been waiting for you to notice all day, and it says here, I'm not going to read it to you, right? The key word is the planet, Uranus, right? That is That is the key word here. Now underneath here, this is the next card that follows by, which is go bother your therapist with that. I can't even begin to unpack this for you. You have your bio went from Jake Collins to lit and loose. Are things okay? Which is really interesting because lit and loose really refers to the alcoholic beverages. You being lit, which means you are either on drugs or you are on some sort of influence or some type of influence. Then it's also talking about loose, was we're talking about this card here, something being loose here, that you had to like poop yourself and you needed somebody to go get your a plastic bag or some gauze. You know, that's pretty interesting. It says here Jay Collins with a heart, and then it changed to lit and loose. So what am I seeing here? I'm seeing here that Jay Collins might be like Russia, and then right after the election they abandoned him. And then now you have to deal with all this crap. Quite literally. Right? That's why it says here, I've been waiting for you to notice all day that he pooped himself. Right? Now let's see if we can get a final message here on why Russia is engaged in Romania and what that might mean for the United States. Can you clarify? Okay, so it says here, not surprised, you were always pretty weird, to be honest. Yeah, that's just not important right now. Just got a new Alexa, this chick will do anything. Right? So, what is that telling me? It's telling me that this is how Russia views the guy who won in Romania before the recount. I mean, not before the recount, before the redo election. Have you been listening to gangster rap again? Then thinking that they are above everybody else because they're rapping and being a gang or whatever. Well, you just respected a future U.S. Army style. Okay, so this U.S. Army here, so the United States is involved in some capacity. It's literally 4 a.m. right now when you're texting this message. And seriously, Rebecca, Game of Thrones just started. I think that Game of Thrones is really interesting because apparently somebody's been saying that what happened in Romania is also very symbolic of what took place in, in Romania. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I never watched Game of Thrones, so I don't have any connotation. I had no interest. Well, not that I have no interest. I just don't know anything about it, so therefore I have no interest to be able to explain what it is that they're talking about, because quite literally, I do not know. So, there's that. But I think it's very interesting how the cards were able to tell us a more of a definitive answer about what it is that we need to know regarding the election in Romania. I find that to be very informative nonetheless, right? So I'm just going to put these cards in, and then we are going to start the second part of this video, which is going to talk about more about the information, but it's going to be referring more so to the other aspect now. Okay. Oh, come on, go in. Okay. It's a lot harder to put it in once you actually get it in. But anyway, besides the point. So yes, you can read with tarot cards with anything. If it's a card, if it's something that you can read, you can do it. I even do it with pictures. So there's that. Anyway, let's do it. So we talked about Romania and everything there. We're going to do a part 2 of this video later on. Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so happy to have you. So this is part 2 of the original video and the original content that was filmed much earlier in the week. I am filming part 2. What happened at the end of the video, my dad came in, so I had to stop recording. So I do apologize for that, but this is part 2. I'm going into this blind because I remember nothing, nanos, of what was in part 1. So what you're going to see in the reading might be further confirmation for you and for I. Yeah, so I'm just going to go into this blindly. When I go in and do my tarot card readings, I'm normally very intuitive. So half the time I'm channeling and I don't realize or even remember anything that I say. A lot of you guys might be experiencing that, especially the new ones who just started following me. Well, thank you for your love and support. What to call it? You might just start realizing that now, like when you start saying things and I don't remember them. That's normally a key indicator that I remember nothing. So, yeah, so that's it. Today is Tuesday, December 10th at 11:42 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is when this specific portion of the video is being recorded. Hopefully, like I said, the closed caption is up and running. I'm trying my best here. I know I read and watch videos with closed caption, but you guys are here to watch part 2, not listen to me do a video. So let's begin. You know, a lot has happened since that video. We talked about, well, we didn't talk about it yet, but kept talking about the heartbreak, the possible hurting assassination, the epicenter of the United States having a heartbreak. You know, now I start to come to think of it, like when you look at my political disaster video or the major heartbreak video, I have a picture of somebody holding onto their heart, and it looks like, oh, I don't know if the CEO in New York who was, you know, how do I say this without getting flagged? Again, this is just finding him appropriate only, and everything in this video is all alleged. So let's go with that. It feels like to me that it's very possible that the heartbreak wasn't necessarily talking about something political in the notion that we initially came into thinking of it. But it's very possible it is. And that's without a sound. Because when I read, sometimes it's Easter eggs and there's things that we don't notice. And then you start to look back at it and you start to realize, oh, it was in there. We just didn't see it yet because it's not something that we're allowed to see. But when you rewatch the video, you're like, oh, I know a lot about that in my videos. Like sometimes in my YouTube videos, I have Easter eggs that I don't even know. And then you rewatch and I say things that's like, wow. Like for example, I did a vaccine video like back in 2021, and I kept talking about like babies and how mothers are dying and all that whole thing. You know the story. It turned out I was referring to the overturning of Roe versus Wade, but I was basically giving a clue for you guys into what to expect from the future, but I didn't even know, I didn't know either. So, I don't expect you to know if I don't know either, you know what I mean? So anyway, besides the point, I'm thinking that the heartbreak is the epicenter of the United States, correct? Because we kept talking about a major thing happening, a major shakeup. Well, it's probably likely going to be the healthcare system. The healthcare system for a lot of people are the epicenter for them. And so we're going to discuss that in another video and why, what happened with the CEO. It's a start of a new era in the United States. So the French Revolution, we talked about this before, how the United States is entering this political return and how it's going to be becoming very revolutionary, very progression. Whether we progress backwards, we progress forward, we're progressing in some capacity. It's determined by you, the people, in what way we progress. But what it also indicates as well, it indicates that we are going to be entering our very first ever French revolutionary ideas. The French Revolution was really all about getting rid of the ultra wealthy and making sure that the people have the power again, taking back your power, taking back what's rightfully yours. We saw this back in RFK Jr. when he ran in California and established We the People Party. That was a very key indicator of what's to come for the future. Now we have people actually taking their own matters into hand because CEOs, politicians are no longer listening to the everyday Americans, and now they're taking matters into their own hands. So this is going to be ramping up. This will be what we call the new guillotine age, so to speak, because a lot of those people who do not listen, they will succumb to the failure of their own inability and ill-equipped to listen to the people. So expect this to be a theme going forward. Now, going back to Romania and the United States, in another video, and I put in this in the community post, I posted that there were a couple ways that Trump could be ousted from power. I'm going to list them here now. We're going to explore in this video with the Romania one, with the nullification of the nullification of the presidential election and a redo. I talked about this many times on my channel. How I kept seeing that, Trump was the winner in 2024, but in 2025, there might be a presidential election redo. So we're going to explore that at the second part of this video today because of what happened with what is going on with me today? What happened with Romania? We're going to explore that in today's video and see whether or not that same methodology will be applied in this election. I kept talking about how I wanted to do this video for a while. And then, lo and behold, Romania did it, and I was like, okay, now we have a blueprint that we can work off of to kind of get a deeper understanding about what might be at play here. So I'm going to give you the options here. We're going to, like I said, we're going to explore that redo election, but we have the 14th Amendment, Section 3. We have Executive Order 13848, wartime president and possible military coup. Those are the options, and then, of course, a presidential redo. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to put this in the year of 2025 because I feel like it's more than anything, it's going to take place around January, February, March. That would be like the period that I see would be the most likeliest it could occur. But don't explore that in the reading. I'm going to try to go into this blind, see what happens. We'll see what the cards say. You let me know in the comment section below if you get anything in your pendulum, in your guides, any messages that you get, put that in the comment section below. I want to see what you get as well. Alright. So again, I apologize for the very long little intro, but I just want to make sure you guys had all the information for part 2. Alright, so Spirit Angels, tell me. Okay, so tell me about the United States and Romania. Are there any similarities between the United States and Romania when it comes to the 2024 presidential election? Will there be a possible redo? What's going on here? Okay, so here's what it says here. So it says here the Fool, the Rising, and this is what I got in my ear because I'm clairaudient, and this is what I've been getting, like, as I'm putting the cards down. They were explaining to me the story, the interpretation. The Fool card, the pools were rising for the specific candidate. The Queen of Swords was the one who was supposed to take over. Because she was unable to do so, she was unable to go against the opposition. People did not choose her or did not vote her in. But there will be a transformation that will take place at death of a nation. The wheel of fortune here, she is not divine. Divine timing did not work in her favor. We have here the Ace of Wands. She was not given the role of divinity at a time of trouble. However, the Hierophant comes in, and that is the corrupt individual. On the bottom of the card here, we have the Three of Pentacles, which means the illusion of the casting votes. On the top of the card here, we have the election. The Ten of Cups here, which is my election card, election day. We have here the result, the rising of the people. And then the final outcome card here is going to be a struggle. Regardless of who it is in a position of power, what is the connotation, the connection, and the similarity between Romania and the United States in the 2024 presidential election? It talks about a woman who was rising in the polls. I don't know necessarily if that is true because I know nothing about Romania and anything about the 2024 election. So feel free to fact check me in the comment section below. But this is what I'm getting in the card. It's saying that this woman was expected to win or was leading higher in the poll than what she had in the past. And that, it's saying that there's going to be a troubled time and transformation that's going to take place over the next couple of months and years during this new term in office. The connection between the two, it has to do with the election, but the people need to learn to rise up to the occasion, not to sit under standby. And if they push through, they very well could become the next president of the United States. And here is the card. We talked about the heartbreak card earlier in the video. This is the Three of Swords. You have to be able to break the heartbreak. The heartbreak for the United States, the question is the political heartbreak. It's the election redo. Because once you redo the election, you're essentially saying that the previous election was inadequate. That it was not be held to the standard or the same standard that every other presidential election has been held to, regardless of what has taken place. So what does this mean? It means that the United States and Romania are undergoing a massive change and a massive shift in the ideology and understanding of how our elections work, and to be able to guide itself during troubled time during the digital age, especially that what we saw in 2024 is just going to ramp up more and more and more as we enter full steam ahead into the artificial intelligence range. So that's what it feels like. It feels like to me, more than anything, the similarity has to do with the woman was not meant to lead in a time of trouble for the country because divine time was not on her side, but the people have to rise to the occasion or they succumb to failure. So that is what I'm being getting. The thing is, the United States is not very well known for protests. And, a lot of you guys would be like, oh, what about 2020? Okay, but look, compare that to the protests that you see all the time in France. Okay? Then tell me that the United States protest often. No, you want to know why they don't? Because they are working half the time. They don't have time to protest because they got things to worry about food. And so they're willing to let go of their civil liberties in exchange for some sort of stability or some sort of security that's never actually going to come. Right? That's the problem. Americans are going to start becoming more radicalized, the likes of which we have never seen before, very similar to a comparison of France. Alright, so now we established the similarity context here. Let's see if we can get a deeper understanding if they're going to be election redo. Let me see if I can get the story from here. Wrong deck? Okay, is this the right deck? Right deck or wrong deck? Is this the right deck? We'll be using this. Okay. We'll try to keep the second part short because it's going to be a combo video, and I don't know how long the first part was. Okay. Alright, so Spears Angels tell me, because Romania has called the Supreme Court, I believe, I don't even know, I think it's the court. The court had called for a redo election and nullified the 2024 presidential election in Romania. Is that to be what is expected to come in the United States? And ironically enough, a lot of you guys have said that when I talked about Anonymous, that he did indeed show up in the reading many times, but also showed up physically in the roles. So I kept getting shown Mussolini fascism, and I kept getting that picture of a mask coming through, almost like Wizard of Oz. Yeah, let me see if I can pull that video. Let me see if I can pull that up, because I feel like that's going to be very important, because for those of you guys who have watched my Psychic Challenge for the Wizard of Oz, I think you guys should definitely check that out one more time, because we talked about the mask guy, the wizard, so to speak. So let's see, Mussolini, masks. Let's see if that comes up. If that comes up right away, oh, here it is. Perfect. It comes up like this. It kind of gives me like a Wizard of Oz vibes, so to speak, if you look at me like that, or if you look at it in that specific way. It's giving me like, what's it called, Wizard of Oz. So if you want to go revisit that reading, highly recommend you do so, and do that with the intent of fashion versus the woman on the yellow robe and Judy Garland and all that. Okay. Okay, so we have the Seven of Swords here reversed. We have the lack of protest from voters. Lack of protest. I feel like a lot of Democrats are content. And I know that is very hard to hear because, you hear so many of us talk about like how it just doesn't seem right. It just feels like it's weird. Like the election is very weird. But there is a portion of the United States that feels very content with the results, almost like at peace. And I'm not talking about the Republicans. We know how the Republicans feel. But I'm talking about the Democrats here. They almost feel like they have a sigh of relief, a restart, a redo. They see like Trump's victory as something to restart in some capacity. Because we have here Four of Swords reversed. We have kneeling the flag, a protest. There's a lack of protest here from these people. Mentally, Americans are not here to protest. I don't know. It feels like here we have the Ten of Swords, but America's not over. That's the thing, America's not over. Hold on. Let's finish that. Let's see. We have here the King of Swords. Now this card, when he has the arm upright, it kind of given Mussolini, 1939 Germany, right? We have this like military leader who is not acting very professional. He has his his shirt open, wide open, exposed, and he's wearing his hat, and it's reversed. And it's telling me here that this is not what the United States is meant to be. The thing is, though, it's giving me mixed signals because it's saying here that half the population on the Democratic side is very content with the result, and they see it as a start over, a redo. Almost like kicking out of Biden out of office was the best thing that they could do for them because they don't believe that this is the truth. It's almost like they're in denial. Because underneath the Seven of Wands here, we have the Nine of Cups reversed. And the Nine of Cups reversed is like food pantry, like feeding the poor, helping the poor, like, feeding the needy. It's reversed here. There's a lack of charity, a lack of understanding that, we're all in this together, that it's not just affects you, it affects everybody from every demographic group. It almost feels like, Americans really are disconnected with each other, and they don't understand how one election can affect the whole population. It almost feels like, in a way, that there were indeed some crossover support from Democrats to Trump's campaign, and that they believed truly that if they did this and they crossed over, they believed that, they could get rid of Biden, which they did, but in retrospect, they never really cared about the needy in the first place. So these were Democrats who were voting Democrat, who were actually Republican behind the scenes, but didn't realize that they were Republican all along. So these are not Democratic voters. These were Republicans who thought they were Democrats, but turned out they were just Republicans all along. That they believed this. They had this ideology here. But there are some faction of those within that same group, that same subgroup category, who believe truly in the heart of it all that this can never happen, and therefore that is not a looming threat, and that what they voted for would never come to fruition. That this would never happen. And underneath here, we have this lack of protest here. There's the Five of Coins. And the Five of Coins give me Hooverville, depression type of thing. It feels like to me, in some capacity, that a lot of people aren't protesting or going up against the normality here, because there are some sort of those who are emotionally depressed and unable to grieve with what had happened, and unable to come to terms about what has taken place and to understand the factors that played into it all. Under here, though, we have the United States, the guy with the American flag on his shirt. It's a title story, blood blowing down. This again is all alleged. This is reversed, which tells me that this is not the end of the United States, but it's the rebuilding of one. It's the rebuilding of the United States. You have the Four of Cups here, upright. It's a rebuild. But these people are not moving. They are kind of stagnant. They are not progressing forward. Because we have this guy freaking out. This guy trying to clearly stay calm, try to calm him down. These two people are chilling. Two people are chilling. They don't see the threat. However, underneath the King of Swords reversed, we have the Seven of Swords upright. And we have the woman in the podium, which looks very, very much like Harris, right? So, what does this all mean? Well, it means that in order for Democrats to be able to put forth an ideology, and I understand, not an ideology, but understanding about what had taken place in the 2024 election, they need to first get out of this mind of depression. You need to come to terms with what has happened, regardless of, you cannot change it, that it has happened. And then you also need to come to terms with the idea that you need to become revolutionary. Right? Revolutionary is not a bad thing. It was never meant to be a bad thing. It never is a bad thing. So, when you think about it in revolutionary terms, it means going back to the roots of what America really stood for. And if you represent those and you ideology and you have the same understanding, the same concept, and the same mind approach, you're going to receive the result that you want. Now, we talk about Luigi, right? Luigi, the one who went after the CEO. We talked about the heartbreak earlier in this video. When you think about it in a more of a deeper sense and a deeper understanding, you can kind of understand in a more of a negate way what has happened. That a lot of people are like, oh, well, this is not America, this is not who we are as Americans. Well, let me tell you something. This is exactly who we are as Americans. What has taken place in New York City was something that we have all expected. It was something that is the very value of the United States. Who you are as an American, that was the simple representation of it. We have Batman, we have Superman, we have all these things, but nonetheless, they all represent the same idea, the same concept, time and time and again. The guy who did that stuff in New York City, he's no different. The only difference is he doesn't have a superpower. But the thing is that you need to realize is that the United States has always done this, even at the very beginning, that they held those who were corrupt at a very punishable offense. There had been no any difference in any capacity in any way that had changed that. So when you act and you start to say like, oh, what he did was not being an American, yeah, that's how he was being an American, because that's what it really was. A lot of people in the United States during the Revolutionary War, they were very well known for going after high political figures and going after people and just obliterating them. This is what it is at the very core of America. That is why I told you America is now entering its French revolutionary ideas, away from the American revolutionary ideas, because that is the way that it was originally founded and it does not work anymore. So it's going to adopt an ideology that is similar to the French and the French approach. I guarantee you there's going to be ideas, there's going to be movement that can be very similar in terms of the energy content, similar to the guillotine. So that is what we're going to be expecting here. We have the wheel of fortune here. Right now the Republicans are in the House. Right? They're in the White House. They're in the Capitol. And the Democrats are just sitting there playing cards. They're sitting there playing cards. But the Republicans are on that wheel. They're on that wheel. Now, what does this mean? Well, I talked about this before in my readings back in 2021 and into 2022. I kept seeing how Speaker Jeffrey was going to become Speaker of the House, and the House was going to be called for the Republican, and then it just turned blue. I very much believe that, the way tarot cards work and the energy is at play here, it had no timestamp. Right? It has no timestamp. It does not understand time the way human consciousness understands time. So, theoretically, when you look at all this, and you look at the spinning wheel, it's very telling you here that, oh yeah, the Republicans are on the wheel right now. Well, what happens when you're on the wheel? You'll become imbalanced. You're going to start tipping the scale. You're not going to be able to hold on. You're not going to be able to stay on forever. So I very much think that, over time, the Democrats are playing their cards. They're playing their game. They're playing a waiting game. The House is going to flip Democrat soon. Don't know when. It's going to flip Democrat. And I'll put a link to that video in the description below. I have to first find it, because I said it many times, and each one had a little bit different information. But nonetheless, I'll put all the different things where I talked about the fake and speakership, Kevin McCarthy speakership, Speaker Johnson speakership, and all those speakerships. Now, I want you to take the thin veil and just understand it at a very deeper level, because there might be more things at play here. And now we have the Wheel of Fortune, and it's followed by the King of Wands. And the King of Wands is Bernie Sanders. Now, Bernie Sanders is that revolutionary style energy, that very highly progressive, the socialist energy. He is the man of the working people. So what is the Wheel of Fortune? That these people who are going to go in with this guillotine idea, this guillotine energy, they are going to start disrupting the very core of the United States government. Whether that's for good or whether that's for bad, it's going to be any people, it's going to be everybody really. We're going to go in, they're going to start disrupting the system. Right? And we have the Three of Wands. We have the Empress. It's the end of the United States as we know it today. Now, that's not a bad thing. That could be a good thing. You know what I mean? Because the United States could be reformed. It could be changed into something better. I told you we have two different paths. We have a path towards a parliamentary system, or we have a path toward a dictatorship, or we just seek to exist. We actually have three paths, So, what does this mean? It means that the picture has finished painting. The story has ended for this era, this piece in time. And it's this new story, a new chapter, a new book, a sequel, if you say, for the United States. So no, it's not the end of the United States as you know it completely. It's the end of the chapter of the book. And therefore a new book, a new sequel needs to take place for the next 250 years. This will be this revolutionary energy, what it means to be the very core of the Americans, the American value. I think it's going to be the end of, what they call them, conservatism, because it realizes, and the core value of it all, it does not work. It's a failing institution. Neoliberalism and neoconservatism plus a little bit of fascism does not work for the United States. So the United States is going to undergo an ideological shift, a change, if you will. It does not mention anything if there's a redo. It doesn't really say that. it does say that there will be a change in the House results before the next midterm, which is likely. And I said that before in one of my other videos as well. It was supposed to happen, just didn't happen. We got close, but we're even closer now. So there's that. In 2026 midterms, I will probably say it's gonna be 218, 217. I really started my vision long time ago. I don't see that anytime changing, and it seems to be on par with where we are politically speaking. So yeah. Alright, so let's see if we can kind of get more information out of this. The Spirit Angel tell me, will there be a 2025 U.S. presidential election? A redo presidential election between Vice President Harris and Donald John Trump? Oh, there's a lot of cards for that. Oh, this is the first time I've ever seen this card before. I'm kind of scared. And I don't want you to be scared in like a bad way. I mean, like the energy is just giving me the energy of feeling scared. I wonder if that's a political. I wonder if that's how one of the candidates is feeling. The candidate's feeling scared. And I'm wondering if I'm feeling that because of how they feel. Spirit Angel telling me, will there be a 2025 U.S. presidential election, a redo of the 2024? Will there be a redo presidential election known as the 2025 U.S. presidential election between Vice President Harris and Donald John Trump for the presidency of the United States? A redo U.S. presidential election because the 2024 presidential election was nullified. Okay. False person. Okay, so we have high risk, high reward, right? There is a possibility, actually, with the connection between Romania and the United States, there is a high probability of the 2025 presidential election occurring. There's a very possibility of that. We have is followed by the devil card. The very institution, the very dark energy of the institution. Now, the thing that's going to give Vice President Harris the edge if there was a redo is the age of Aquarius. Now, when Donald Trump won, and when I got the information that Vice President Harris was going to win the United States and become the next president of the United States, I got that on October 5th, 2024. Now, apparently that is when the energy shifted out of Aquarius, right when I did that video, and I didn't know that. So it is very possible, because Donald Trump won, because it was stayed out of Aquarius up until election day, when the results were being announced, that if this were to take place in 2025, it would not favor Trump this time. Because the energy, the movement, was only during that small period where it moved out of Aquarius. Because America is in its full return now. We're in its very full mess. We have the devil card here. This is the card that represents the very darkness, the very hatefulness of the United States. It's being followed by the Sagittarius, which is the November card, really, the November card. We had the blood moon. We talked about the blood moon. I kept talking about referring to March and how I kept seeing something happening in March. Now we have a man here. He is a half horse, half man. Now this is a Greek mythology here. This is something that is Greek. Something that had never been done before. Not something that can be definitively proven, but something that can be created. Now you're asking yourself, well, how can something such as this, a half man, half horse, be created? Genetic modification. So what does this mean? This means that there could be possible modification to the way that we do our election by modifying what has happened before and changing by doing a redo. Right? Saying, oh, well, evolutionary wise, having a half man, half horse, having a full horse, a full man, that's not evolutionary's way of doing things. We're going to take control of matters into our own hand and create what we deem to be most evolutionary supreme. That is the idea, that is the concept at play. Now it's being followed by the death card. Now this death card is going into a greenhouse. Now the greenhouse is very well known for holding high humidity. It's extremely hot, extremely humid. Sometimes it lacks its oxygen level. But what does the death card indicate here? Well, let's take a look and see what's on the floor. Well, we have a sword. We have this bowl. We have some dynamites. We have a candle. We have anonymous. We have a red rose. We have a red book, a manifesto. We have a pickle. I think that's what that's called. I don't know what that is. And then we also have an apple. And we have an open gate here with a skeleton dragging along its way into the greenhouse. Now, the greenhouse is very symbolic, and it has that dome-style shape, which means this is the capital of some capacity. It might mean the U.S. House, it might mean the Senate, it might mean the White House. But whatever's coming, there will be a transformation, and it gets ignited because of what took place in November, shooting the stars towards the red blood moon. And because of that, the end result is a death or something, a transformation, a redo, a rebirth, right? That is what we talked about in the past, of rebirth, a retransformation. Under here, the high risk, high reward. We have the marriage card, unity. That's the challenge to this. What does the Knight of the Coins indicate? Division. A possibility of a civil war. There is. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to try to scare you at all. I don't want you to be scared because this is common sense here. The United States is entering its next phase. Forever, no country can, be avoiding the fact of a possible civil war. No country's ever avoided it. The United States is not immune to that. There's no reason to be scared. Do not boggle your mind in the worries in which you cannot control. Now, underneath the double card here, we have the house. Now, this is my house card. I wonder if there's a possibility where this takes place when there's nobody in control of the house. Now, I don't know if that means in a kind of sense of talking about the, what's it called, the White House, that no one's in control of the White House. It could also be very well indicating the control of the House of Representatives, that this election fracture that took place is because of what takes place on the House. That we need to wait for the House shift so that this transformation can begin. But this is an investigation, a launch of an investigation towards the red blood moon, and there is a change that's coming. And underneath here, we have the Sagittarius. This is a community card. We talked about November, right? People come in during the time of election day to voice their opinion, to voice what they want. But underneath the Sagittarius card, we have community. People coming together from all different financial backgrounds, from all different educational backgrounds, from all different racial backgrounds. They're all coming together to vote for who they think would best represent them as Americans. Right? That's the community card. This is the election card. Right? Under the death card, though, we have the 13. I forgot this too. We have the 13, the number 13, 13 colonies, going back to the original foundation of the United States. It's being aided by expectation. Vice President House is going to run in 2028. Mark my word. But the expectation is that she will become president now. Essentially, she'll become president now. We have occupation. A change in the occupation of this individual, a change in Vice President Harris's occupation. We have the family room, going back to family values, going back to the room where it all started. It started back in 2021 when Vice President Harris became the first Vice President woman of the United States. Right? And here is the imprisonment, the little squeaker, right? The little mouth. He gave a little intel. The thing is, what will she do with the information? Because we all know there was someone false who was not supposed to be in. And the top of the card here is mature woman, reverse. This is Hillary Clinton is reverse. What's telling me is not what Hillary Clinton experienced, but because of a wealthy man, he changed the results. This is Elon Musk. And we have here sudden wealth. The wealth is going to start crashing soon. The great fortune, like I said, is going to come to an end soon, and information is going to start getting revealed, and the disconnect between the two, between Elon Musk and Trump, is going to start crashing. And it's going to be because of some sort of health issues or something regarding health. And we have here poverty. A lack of. So, what do I think about the 2025 presidential election in the United States? I very much think that there's a very strong probability that something like that could indeed occur in the United States. It does look like that is a very strong outcome. Well, of course, we're going to have to look at the other possibilities in another video and see what went the strongest. You guys let me know what you think is the strongest outcome so far by you, what you think you've been getting, what your pendulum been getting, your intuition, your guides, whatever it is that you get, however you receive your information. Let me know in the comment section below. I'm really curious. Until next time, I love you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.